Let me start off this video by saying that the average white family is said to have seven times the wealth of the average black family. And CNBC reported that 8% of American adults are millionaires. So again, I tell you, the average white family has 7 times the wealth, the cash, the money, as the average black family. And CNBC reported that more than 8% of American adults are millionaires. That's like 1 in 10 people. So I'm walking down the street and I see 10 adults in the average city or something. If it's an area where people mix kind of in a way that's consistent with this statistic, we'll say, that one of those guys will be a millionaire. Okay? That's something, right? Basically, you know. So let's understand what this means for dating, what it means for the righteous man in a world where people practice nepotism, favoritism, narcissism. They do things in a way where they relate to evil people, and only evil people are wealthy. Okay? I brought this up many times before. No one has ever presented a single case of a person who's wealthy, who's not obviously evil, and there's various things that cause them to be evil, and they have to do with what I'm going to talk about in this video and more. All right, so with that being said, my first official point, keep that point in mind this whole video, that how you treat the most righteous person ever with a universal scale is like a covenant with all the righteous who've ever lived, any people who are somewhat decent, you know, in a sense, with God, if you believe in God, with nature. Okay, so it's cause and effect. What happens immediately when you mistreat me, the most righteous person ever, with a scale of focus, moral intensity? My moral intensity was so great that even though everyone knows I'm a Nigerian, a 6'4", you know, part Nigerian person, that they went out of their way to fuel me and drug me and to reduce my intensity, so they would say, oh, he's skinny. Now, you see how even this video is misleading. I look like a skinny, like weird shaped skinny guy, but you look to all of a sudden immediately, you see how I look bigger? It has to do with that. They do some funny business with the camera and with the voice and with the fumes and the poison and the technology to make me seem different. Make me seem like a clown-ass motherfucker. And it goes back to Jim Crow and the black faces, like, oh, let's make him look like a funny black guy. And it also has to do with, I'm not from Black Lives Matter. I don't approve of what they're doing. However, when you look at the comments on the internet, they're racist as hell. Every time a black guy commits a crime, it's all over YouTube or something. They say, what does Black Lives Matter have to say about this? When everyone knows that black people are disenfranchised, they never got on their feet after slavery, and it's a racist-ass system where the wealth is, their oppressors have the wealth, and they spread the wealth around with all those wise-ass motherfuckers, and that's part of why, all those racist white guys that say things like that, and the rich racist, scientific racist guys, and that's part of why these things are said so commonly, and these people don't lose their jobs commonly. Once in a while they do, but commonly they don't. They can run their mouths all day, and those same corporations that will fire me for telling the truth about this will not fire them. And there's all kinds of cute little things like that that's part of institutional racism, and everyone knows it. So I have to explain to you that there's crime in Compton and Long Beach. Everyone knows that. And everyone knows that corporations are some racist ass, you know, political agenda having type motherfuckers. All right. With that being said, my second point is more controversial than these first things I've brought up. Listen very carefully. A lot of people will deny this point. That's why it's my longest point. Racism is my second point. Every culture that is allowed is racist in a way that first and foremost affects the most righteous person ever the most. It affects me the most. Okay? I'm part black, part white, but that's not why the black community rejects me. The black community rejects me, listen carefully, because I'm not whitewashed enough. I'm not run by the whites and Jews, you know, they own the big record labels, like they control Lil Wayne and them, okay? I'm not run by these people. I don't fit into their pecking order, so the black community rejects me. So even though I'm half white, the black community basically rejects me because I'm not whitewashed enough. I'm not whitewashed. I'm not in the white supremacy pecking order that includes the token minority and the people that bootlick to them. You see what I'm saying? If you don't know what I mean, you're fucking insane. Ask me if you don't know what I mean. Anything, you know, ask me. Don't sit there and play stupid. Don't take me out of context. Ask me what I mean. All right. Because I want to make this video shorter. They're not going to let me upload it. It's a long story why that is. It has to do with hacking and so on and so forth. All right. So I'm the essence of Africa. Now I was thinking about what is black. Shaka Zulu is more black than Chris Rock, because Chris Rock is a whitewashed English-speaking person. Now, it's not because he doesn't speak English that Shaka Zulu is more black when he didn't speak English, if he ever did. Okay, it's because he's a warrior with focused moral intensity to some degree. That's what it means to be black. If you're black because you have a little bit of black intensity, you're not as black as the guy with focused warrior moral intensity with a spear, right? Africans, the spear, the shield, the heart, the honor, the deep conversation, the Lion King, and so on and so forth. The things that they're alluding to, that they're referring to, that they're superimposed on, okay? So, in a sense, I'm the blackest person ever because I'm the top martial artist ever because of my African mighty spiritual spirit. Okay? And women should be turned on like this because it's human and I'm even part white. Like President Obama, who got voted to be president. I'm even part white. So why the fuck are they shunning me? You know? And I don't look as weird in real life as I do on this video. And I don't sound as weird either. All right. And remember, the topic has me worked up and I'm fumed and poisoned so I don't express myself well. I'm not articulating it well. But I'm doing it well enough so no one has any excuse, you know, for not knowing that I'm right. So let's look at the different aspects of why this is. Even called slavery. And slavery, even though a lot of people are slaves, is mostly associated with black people. And guilty by association plays in more than people want to admit. So there's A, there's mental slavery. B, there's sex slavery. C, there's slave wages. D, the modern day slave system. Okay? Mental slavery in a white supremacist system where the wealth tells the story and who women date tells the story. Okay? Disproportionately oppresses black people and oppresses me first and foremost. They're cheating me out of what I otherwise would have had. I would have been the most revered person on the planet. Think about all the money and all the admiration of potential wives. Instead, I'm shunned and they're trying to bankrupt me. B, sex slavery in its various forms, coercion, collateral, da-da-da. I'll let you think about that. C, slave wages in their various forms, okay? You know, what minimum wage should be and who gets paid what and why. It's a long story. I'm sure you can understand immediately why I'm right about these things. D, the modern day slave system. Again, if you have any questions or you don't believe me about these points being valid, please ask me. I'm running out of time. I got to shoot through this now. I'm going to try to wrap this up in the next minute. All right. It's a racist system, again, remember, where the average white family is said to have 7 times the wealth of the average black one. To argue that is because blacks are lazy is insane and stupid and racist. Can you imagine? You have Africans working like 16 hours a day in the field. Some of these guys carry a handful of wood, you know, like fucking 30 miles or something back to their village, you know, from their village, and they gets a few dollars and go back to that village, is like Ethiopia or something. You got things doing like this all the time. My dad's a brain surgeon. My other uncle, my uncle, excuse me, is a doctor too. And my other uncle who passed away was a lawyer, graduated top of his class. But it's because black people are lazy. Okay, I have a college degree. I used to do martial arts for hours a day and make videos and go to school and work a job, work for my parents' medical company. Okay, I used to do all that. Oh, but it's because I'm lazy that I'm not rich. Oh, I'm sure it has nothing to do with who you know and networking and so on and so forth. Even though mental health even says it's important to have a strong support network, kind of like the fraternities, the social clubs, the different police organizations, and all these dudes who have strong networks that help them get things and so on and so forth. Right, it's retarded. It's racist. It's white denial. It's white fragility. It's bitch-ass shit. Okay? My next point is very important. Who are the stakeholders? Why is it? Now we've established that the system is racist and it's obvious and you're an idiot that's going to hell immediately, so to speak, if you deny it, okay? Let's look at who are the stakeholders. Why is it this way? Is it because some black guy in Africa who's starving to death, you know, is just his child, perhaps? No. It's because of the rich Jews, the rich whites, and the rich LGBT people, which include feminists. It's basically an LGBT movement. Okay, the foundation of Western culture is like a mix of these things. 1 in 10 Roman citizens were Jews. We can go on and on, right? Who are you taught are the chosen people? The African taught martial artists, the most spiritual people ever? No, the Jews. What culture do you have? White culture. What is the massive liberal agenda? These people in the news, how do they talk like gays, their clothes, the entertainment industry, on and on. Okay, you're retarded if you think I'm wrong about who the main stakeholders are and who's to blame the most in the governing class and so on and so forth. So my fourth point is provocation. The human response to this system is to go smoke somebody. They then channel that to get black people to smoke each other. I'm pretty sure you understand that. Let's move to the next point. Now, there's a bunch of toxic masculinity bitches. They better not. They better not. I'm not saying they should, you ignorant motherfucker. Okay? You can imagine all the dickheads who would say that. Number 5, I've been studying trafficked women for a long time. I know for sure that they have a conscious and an unconscious bias against dating black people, especially the righteous black hero, unless they're a token minority who's part of some crypto family of whites or Jews or LGBT or whatever they're doing these days. I'm out of time. Thank you.